What up, everybody? This is a conversation with my girl Hillary. I've known Hillary for years. I've seen her through multiple evolutions. She's seen me through multiple evolutions. And I like to think that at our core, we have remained the same person, just with different circumstances, different adventures, different stuff that we're trying to figure out, and same stuff that we're still trying to figure out. Um, she's amazing. She is a beautiful person who thinks really intentionally and in a very impactful way everything that she experiences. She is a brand new mom. And even though we can think of that as like very cliche, like, oh, okay, someone's a new mom now. If you're a mom and you've gone through it, you know that's no small thing. And we talk about that. We talk about how crazy it is to give birth to a human. And even though people try to quantify and qualitate this event, it is unquantifiable. It is priceless. It is just beyond anything. So we talk about her experience going through that and then starting her own business and what it means to have people who support you around you, and just the expansiveness and craziness that your mind is going through, all while having just given birth to a whole person. I love this conversation. I love this conversation, and I hope you do too. Enjoy.
It was
Oh my God. Get it? What bra is it? Is it like a Victoria's Secret, like goddess bra?
no,
No.
Walmart. A Walmart $6 bra. Best bra I've ever gotten in my life. I feel
That's the
so
best.
comfortable, but it's the first
Oh,
bra that I've purchased since I found out I was pregnant, which was 2 years ago. And so,
stop.
yeah,
The
I
first bra? So you didn't even get a maternity bra?
oh no, I got a whole bunch of maternity bras, like nursing bras when I found out I was pregnant. I got like a pack of 5 on Amazon.
Sure.
And those have carried me through. But I've been wearing nursing bras, and I'm not nursing anymore. And I had 2 hours.
Oh my God, you're free.
I know. I got a
Oh
new
my God, you're free.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. So when did you stop nursing?
July of this year.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You have your body back.
I do. I've heard people say that for so long, and now I understand.
I feel like the first instinct, though, when you stop breastfeeding or when you're like thinking of stop breastfeeding, like the first thing is guilt. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's that sense of like the competition either with yourself or with others or with society or whatever, of just like, did I breastfeed long enough? Like, did I do everything that I could, you know?
Mm.
And I love that you're hearing this a lot, which is kind of like there's like, and in more pockets. I don't want to say generally, because I know there's a lot of pockets that are like, no, you still need to breastfeed as long as possible. And like your job as a woman, as a mother, and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I am hearing more of this, which is like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm happy to hear that more because this is like not for the faint of heart, like none of it. So just throwing anything that has to do with feeding children, whether it's from your body or from a bottle, is like whoa.
literally. Whoa, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've only recently, after being a mother for almost 18 years and cooking nonstop for people over the course of that, I've only finally come back to feeling like actually having this realization that I'm like, I actually like to cook. I do. I actually enjoy cooking, but I haven't enjoyed it in so long because you're cooking and what you can be, like, so excited about is just gonna be like, "I don't
Uh-huh.
wanna eat that." And that feeling is so, like
What I just cooked is all over the floor.
yeah, and then you're the one that's eating the leftovers, like, how, like, yeah, you're eating your failure, right? You're
Yeah.
like, "But I think this is good. Is it a me problem?" Like, uh
That's the next thing that
yeah,
I hope to reach is enjoying cooking again because that but I'm taking like my small wins. My $6 bra is has given me back my
that's a huge
glow.
win. I love it. No, yes, I mean, there's, like, a whole, like, "What's up? What's up? We're fierce, we're soft, we're fierce, we're quiet assassin," you know?
It's the goal for my this year of life. My
Is it?
33rd
Is it?
birthday. Yep, my 33rd birthday was last month.
My
Um,
god. Happy
yeah.
belated birthday, I just got chills. Oh my god.
And I was like, I'm gonna work softer this year.
Oh, I love that. I actually heard this saying. What is it? It's like soft living? Am I misremembering that or misquoting that? That's like soft, is it soft living? But it's like soft something. Like this is like a trend that's
Yeah.
like people are talking about more as like embracing softness.
Yeah. I like that with like, embracing that it comes with it's just like a part of our divine feminine. Like this is really our
Yes.
essence that but it's like really actually naturally there, but there's just a lot of barriers
Hmm.
to accessing it right now in our society and like within us, just like generations and generations of blocks to that. I've
Yes.
been
The
like,
layers.
doing a little bit, doing a little bit of things. It's like the similar motion to finding a bra on the rack.
My favorite, a friend of mine told me, I don't know if it was a joke or a bit or whatever, but she told me what she heard, and this was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard, about bras. And she was like, every woman has like 10 bras that they have to get through to get to the one bra that they actually wear.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like whoever has more than 3 bras, I'm just gonna I'll go stretch, right? More than 3 bras that they actually feel like they can go to and wear and feel good about wearing, and they don't feel like they have to be like, "Okay, the girls are out extra, but, like, it's fine, I'll just tuck them in a little bit," or it's like, "Oh, the thing is but I don't have time," or whatever, right? But, like, 3 actually good go-to bras. I don't think I've ever met this phoenix. I don't think I've ever met this person.
I know. I want to be there though. Like that signifies to me that I have given myself time and investment.
Literally. And it would mean that we have, like this is like a dirty secret, I feel like, but we would have, like, clean bras all the time. But it's impossible to wear a perfectly clean bra every time. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah. No, it is. That is I feel really seen hearing you say that.
I mean, it is a dirty
I'm
secret, but
not
it's so
alone.
true. And you're not alone. There are dozens of us.
Thank you.
Oh my god. So, I'm really excited about talking with you again because
Yeah.
well, specifically because I think you just have such a wonderful Venn diagram of like so many intersections of what I feel like is more and more of the modern woman, we'll say. And just like the modern individual for sure, but especially woman, right? I feel like in a society that expects such high expectations of parents, new parents, but still like maintains the same level of expectations unless you work in a place that's understanding and all these other sort of independent variables of like these massive compounding pressures. Um, but what we're finding more and more is women who are venturing out. Obviously, like the gig economy is huge. It's, alive and well. And I think that the women, I mean, the people who are most taking advantage of it are not just young parents, but especially women, because we have to find a way, one, to survive, and two, because we're not finding that level of flexibility that we need, and we're realizing like, "Oh, I can make my own thing." And so you going off and creating your own thing, I'm sure, and I kinda wanna get into, like, kind of where that came from, and I'm sure that came from that was already there, this sort of like, "Is this possible? Can I do this? I would love to," right? Aspirational. But, actually pulling the trigger, creating your own venture, while like, literally, all on top of becoming a brand new mom, right?
Yeah.
And, in a blended family with, family also close by, so you've got all these sort of potential variables instead of just, um it just being all on you, which sometimes is really good, but then you've got support and you've got all these things and there's all this information coming through. Just kind of take me through kind of this journey a little bit and also like where this kind of originated for you.
Yeah. It's so wild to think about because it was, I think, exactly a year ago, like this week, a year ago, I was like downtown with my little stroller, my newborn baby in a stroller, submitting my paperwork for my LLC in Chicago.
I just got chills. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is so wild and like what a year it's been. Going back to work after having a baby is just kind of, it's like there's, I know we have to do it. I don't know what other word to say besides like unnatural, like that there is such a stark, and I do hear from folks that like places have a ramp up period. I also did have a ramp up period, but like it's the worst case of the Sunday scaries I've ever had in my life, like the weeks leading
Mm,
up to going back to work. And I think in my field, right, in being a therapist, it's a goal for a lot of people to have their own practice. And naturally, because that's sort of the idea is that that's where you make the most money. And that's not necessarily true. But because you could earn more supervising in other places, and being a manager and stuff like, but I my motive wasn't necessarily financial. It was really about having control of my time and my energy. Um, because I was doing just so much energy output and giving with a baby strapped to my chest during supervision meetings. I mean, not during therapy meetings. I couldn't have the baby with me, but
right.
like we, I was just kind of like, if I don't do this there right now, I don't know how else to put it besides like I feel like I could be harming people around me rather than doing good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I'm already feeling such dread and heaviness around not having the freedoms that I was craving,
Hmm.
that I wasn't wanting to show up full throttle as a manager. Where I was at before, but I knew the person that I was working for had really, really big goals and I wasn't really able to meet them there. And the excitement for I mean, I was, my family needed me and I needed me. And I was also just like, I need to take this step, to show up for my family more fully and, not to do justice for the woman that I am and that I know I can
Mm,
be. Um,
yeah.
and I'm come from a pretty like risk averse family. My parents, they went through a lot. I would say financially, professionally, risk averse. And so like my mom had the same job for 25, 30 years. My dad has been in the same industry for his whole career as well. And they were both like, their first question is, what are you going to do for health insurance? Right.
Right.
And I was like, great question. I can answer that question in a moment.
A moment.
But I think it was really all of this was really inspired by my husband because he has a very entrepreneurial spirit. He
Mm.
encouraged me to try side gigs. While I was in graduate school to earn money, like I was doing a network marketing company, which is how you and I
Ooh. Oh,
I
wow.
sent you that message.
My God, that's right. Dude, that is crazy. What
Yeah.
a blip. What a blip.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I had sent you a message and I think 3 years later you saw it and responded, but I was already not involved with the network marketing anymore and was like a
Dude, that's
therapist. Yeah.
my God, that is wild. Okay, all right, cognitive dissonance. I'm just like, oh my God,
So
exploding.
wild. So he was
That's
like,
so cool.
he really helped me build that belief in myself that could take risk, try different
Mhm.
things, and like, what's the worst that could happen? But beyond that,
Right.
it's like I had to use my village,
Yeah.
and not just because, I mean, yes, because I was a new mom, that was a huge part of it, but also because like historically, I'm the rugged individualist, I was like, I don't want help. I don't need help on things. I can figure it out on my own. And this time I was like, no, the challenge here is to use community and to ask for help.
Mhm.
And um I just felt really held throughout the whole experience of starting my own business, from asking friends about their experiences, from talking in depth with Edwin about like, here's what I'm scared of.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay, and I was like, right, that's fine. He was like, we'll be fine. Like, and I was like, okay.
You're like, oh, okay. Also, and to your yes and or so.
Just like I could have talked in circles and like about
Right.
the things that I was scared about, but I I just feel I feel much closer to myself since I've
Mhm.
started this because I'm I'm getting to learn about myself. I feel like when I was
Mhm.
working as like historical people pleaser, um
Mm.
when I'd be working for people, I would be working for good graces, to be in good graces, to get accolades, to do well in their eyes. And it's like, no, this is all on my accord. Like, this is forcing me to really build my sense of self and sense of professional identity, personal identity.
100%.
And I'm not saying that working somewhere you can't have that. I was, after many years of getting to work at other places, I was just having a really hard time letting go of those like the external validation that I needed. And
Mhm.
I was like, well, let me just kind of like what we talked about last time. Let me see what I'm made of. Like,
Yeah.
not like I have to
100%.
prove this to myself. It's like, no, I just want to see what my capacity is. Like, if I have to go work for someone
Yeah.
or go work somewhere, or pivot, I
Yep.
can do that.
Yes. 100%.
Ruby to see
I
that I
took
can do this.
That's the other thing, right? Is our kids. We want to set a good example for them as best we can. There's some allowance to selfishness that allows that like gives us permission for, right? Because normally, at least, it's so funny because even though for sure tides are changing, we still have this narrative in our head that we have to be sort of responding to and creating a dialogue with, because it's the dialogue that really was ingrained in us from society, from our culture, from our family, from what we saw and everything, which is basically like, you know, we intuitively want to say, I want to make my kid proud, right? But then we have this internal dialogue of like, yeah, like, what about health insurance? What about stability? Right? Like, but you're working how much, like, or whatever it is, right? That you can just counter that with yourself because of everything that has kind of been subliminally ingrained in you of like what is expected of you as a mother, right? And what are some of those narratives in your head that you had to combat that maybe, if any, right? Because maybe you were like, nah, bitch, like, let's go. Right? But what in your mind, like, what were those conversations like with Edwin, right? Where, like, what was your biggest, like, concerns? Was it intrinsic? Was it extrinsic? Like, was it optics? Was it the stability factor? Was it all of the above, right? Like, what were the biggest things that were kind of, even the identity part is really interesting, but like what was that? What were those narratives that were going
Yeah.
on?
Is it selfish of me to take a risk like this when I'm really at our family is at its like most vulnerable? I mean, we were like in crossfire of like my stepdaughter starting high school and her living with us full time, during her school week, having a newborn, like coping with, PTSD from Ruby's birth. Like I was like,
Mhm.
is this too selfish of me? I had like various
Right.
versions of me. Like the part of me that was like, is this too selfish? Was quickly met with the part of me that was like, you need to do this. Like
Mm.
this is
Yes.
important. Like if there's any time in your life to meet yourself, to learn about who you are, to see like what you're capable of, like it's now.
Yeah.
But I was like, is this too selfish? Is this financially irresponsible? Because, I need to have clients. I don't, we're people, we ebb and flow with how much we show up to therapy. Like, I don't
Right.
have my income every month is different. Is that
Right.
okay? What are my parents going to think? Do people think I can do this? What if I have to go work for someone else in the future?
Mhm.
But one question that really messed with me, and it's like not a bad one though, is like I'm reaching this point in my career of starting my own practice, and I thought that was going to be 10 years from now when I'm in my mid 40s. And I was scared about, I am scared about like, I thought this was the peak. So now I feel this responsibility that, I'm toying with, we're doing, soft work of like, I don't know what this means for the rest of my career and my professional.
Mm.
I'm already doing this now because I realize I'm kind of scared of my potential.
Wow. That's so powerful. That's like, I feel like it's a it's a great problem to have, obviously,
Yes.
but I think it's so yeah, but it's so also much more indicative of like what you do need to be prepared for. And I think, honestly, I actually think there's that subconscious, I think a lot of times when we are struggling to take the leap of faith that we need to in our careers and our relationships and whatever, I feel like a lot of it is actually fear of success and not fear of
Right.
failure. Because with fear of success, then the question is exactly this: what comes after? If I've been fascinated and, having this dream and fixating on this idea and this image, what's the worst thing that could happen? And this is arguable, right? But not that it doesn't happen, because it's not happening now, right? So you're already in a state where you know what it looks like to not have that thing. So that's not the worst possible thing. The worst possible thing is you don't know. And that's what happens after you get the thing that you want. To me, that's like, so I love that. I mean, you said it's like, yeah, it's ruminating there. And what did you say? Like, it's not that big of a problem, or it's like not that scary, or
It's
what
like
was it that you,
I think I said it's not that like bad.
it's not that bad, right? It's not that bad because you're in your awareness, like, it's not the worst problem to have, right?
Right.
But it's also the best, scariest outcome, which is I did it. So now what? I've definitely felt that way in my own life in a lot of ways, where it's like, okay, so now I can just like do what I want.
Mhm.
Like, that's crazy. Like, I've only ever been in a state of like, do what has to be done. You have to prioritize the fires in front of you. It's not like, oh, there's only one fire today. It's like there's 10 compounding, like, episodic and overarching thematic fires that are happening in your life on a day-to-day basis that you have to either juggle, and it doesn't take too far to reach down to find another fire, right?
Right.
Like when you're sitting in traffic, it's like, oh, this is a thing and that's a thing and then da, 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 and it's just kind of right. But when you have more power, you have more control. And to your point, you've just gotten to a point in your career where you're like, this is what I imagined like my peak would look like, right? Now you have to invent shit. Now you have to invent like
Yep.
what does like so I can just get to do whatever I want. Like what how do I even decide what it is that I want to do if it's not an emergency?
Yeah. That's the part that really, really scares me. And I did have a little bit of judgment towards myself that I was like, I'm trying to think of how to put it. Like, am I a cliche that I just became a mom and I'm like finding myself, like, or something? Like, I didn't want to like use, seem like I
I
was
love that.
using motherhood as some kind of like, you know, I don't know what the word is, like a catalyst. But then I was like, why am I fucking shaming myself for this? Or like judging myself for this? Like, this was life. This giving birth is life changing. And it's beyond me why we as humans, specifically women, are not nicer to each other. And
Girl,
having
same.
like, because I know not everyone is a woman and is a privilege to give birth. And
Mhm,
we as women can birth many things. We do. We mother even when we don't have children. And
mhm.
like this, even our internal energy, even if we have even if we haven't or one hasn't given birth, like we have such power that is a part of us. And
Yes.
going through having Ruby, I was like, oh my God, like this is a life. Like, my body created a life. What the hell? I could probably do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff if I could do that.
I mean,
Like,
honestly.
I'm like, let me just like, I don't think I don't want to call it like momentum, but just like this like spark of like, whoa, that just happened. Okay, like, well,
Yes.
I think that I could make a lot of stuff happen. Like I could birth a lot of things and I could nurture a lot of things and I have capacity
Right.
for that. Like I just began
Yes.
to see really quickly what my capacity was after having a baby,
Yes.
and it was not easy
Right.
by any means because I saw myself at the lowest of low.
Yep.
And I'm grateful for whatever part of me it was that was able to see through the dark to be like, we can make a path
Yes.
to.
Yes. Well, and I wanna say very importantly, because I feel like what you went through, like the cliche, yes, but I think I think what happens to a lot of women is they don't have the support. And I love how, you have a supportive family, and even though they're like, "Well, what about health insurance?" Right? But they're like, they're still generally supportive. I would say even more so, key here is your husband, your partner, right? And being on the same page and having the same value systems. And even when you're in a state of like, you're on that side of the mountain, I'm on this side of the mountain, and like, how do we get to the same place? Even if we have the same value systems, even if we have the same goals, even if we have all these things, but for whatever reason, you know, energy level, motivation, inertia, all these things, right, can play such a key part in even the best relationships, create tension and discourse. And in those that's why I tell people, one, like, it's so funny because I remember being single and at a certain point being just like, and this was like really early on. This is not when I had a child, because by no means I was like, I don't need nobody, enough children. But I remember when I was like single, young and whatever, you just got all this energy and you're just like, I just want a boyfriend. Right? Like, I just want a boyfriend. I just wanna get married. I just wanna have, like, my home. I just wanna, like, do my thing, and I just wanna, like, be, right? And now yeah, now I'm like, and this is coming from a place of, I've done so much dating. I have fucked so many men. I have had so many children. I've been married now, and now I'm in this amazing, loving, beautiful sort of idyllic relationship. I can confidently say that life by design, and we could go into why, but by design is meant to be hard. Okay. Life is
Yeah.
just meant to be hard, right?
Mhm.
Throw in the mix a relationship that is hard,
Mhm.
just generally hard. Oh, it is, it is the worst. It is the absolute worst. It is worse than death. It is worse than, because you are locked in and you are trapped dealing with an already difficult life. And now, on top of it, you have a difficult relationship that just compounds and help and just gaslights every part of you. Even if they're not actively gaslighting you, it's just this sense that you're just not validated, you feel like, in any of what you go through. You can be two amazing human beings, but if it's a difficult relationship because you're not compatible, right? Then you're just, why would you make an already difficult situation harder, right? And the only reason why we want to do that, especially when we're young and stupid, is because we're bored,
Yeah.
right? But then you grow up, and having a marriage, having a committed relationship is already, I'll say, hard, but only because you're two people, right? You're two people, but not because like the day to day is hard. The day to day should be fun. It should be easy. You should be laughing. You should be expressing love to each other every single day. You should be feeling, even if you don't say it out loud, but feeling some sense of like peace, right? Every single day with your person. And I love that I love that you, uh, felt some, like, I'm a cliche, right? But I think it's because the cliche is the aspiration.
Right.
We want to be able to experience labor, experience motherhood, and this can be in any sort of metaphor of itself, right? And then be supported at the end of that journey, right? Because now a new journey begins. And it's only when we feel that support of those who love us around us, like that's the dream. It's not just, I'm feeling this epiphany of myself and I'm feeling motivated and right? The only reason it's a cliche is because it is the aspiration and not everybody gets to experience that, you know? Like that's beautiful. And I just want to say kudos to Edwin for like being your rock and being that like bonus factor, right? Like someone can be compatible and we have all these overlaps with someone, but it's the extra stuff that they have that helps us iterating and trending up, right?
He was holding the vision. Like, I think because he wasn't pregnant and didn't go through the physical childbirth, like he
Right.
was able
He could
to
he think
remind
clear.
Yeah, he was able to think. Well, I was covered in milk and sleeping. And he held vision for us. He's like, he's like, what we want is to be able to be with our families, to travel
Mhm,
we when we want to, because our families aren't local, and
mhm.
be be able to be with family and enjoy.
I
And
love that.
like he reminded me of that, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, right. Part of me being able to do that is like really trying this on for size, right? Like really just going for this, like starting my own business. And um because now more than ever, I need to be able to fly to see my family. I need Ruby to build relationships with my family members. I need
Right.
them to be able to come out here and me not be worried about where I'm going to be, or what my schedule is. Like, it's just been, it was helpful to have him holding vision. And also
Yeah.
because I was, I built, I built this business during 30-minute pumping sessions at 9 o'clock at night for over the course of 3 months. I was like, that's the only time I had. The baby was sleeping. That was the only time I was sitting, basically, without Ruby being attached to my chest. Like, you know, I
Right.
I just had to use the time that was there. And I'm talking community down to like the Reddit community. Like the therapist Reddit community is like magic. I mean, but then community with like reaching out to friends being like, did you feel this way after you had a baby? Or did your baby do this? Or like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like this? And then being able to be like, I'm a human. I have friends. I have family. I have Edwin. I'm getting to know my
Mhm.
baby and what being a mom. I mean, there was just like so many buckets at once. And
Yeah.
it was really important to my have Edwin, my partner, being the mirror of like, hey, here's also like who we've been to,
Mhm.
because like this is a lot right now.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. 100%, 100%. The time commitment is always like, do you think do you think in terms of, because where would you say you're at now with your business? Like, do you feel like you're at like a comfortable place? Do you feel like you're like, in the panic zone? Do you feel like you're, like there's just a lot? Or do you feel like, okay, I'm looking forward to like the next step kind of thing? Or what does it look like for you now?
Right now, it looks like I am pushing my growth edge is being pushed. um,
Mm.
through having to balance, like, so because I'm coming up on a year, um, there's my clinical license renewal, there is
Mm.
my business license renewal, there's my domain name renewal, like all those types of things coming up that are new that, um, I was kind of at like a smooth, like status quo for a couple months with stuff. And then I was like, oh, smokes. I got like all these emails and all this mail of stuff I had to get done. So I'm like, okay, that's pushing my growth edge a little bit. Like, I'm not taking on any new clients right now, just to like at least till January, just to kind of manage all these admin things and still be able to show up and be present to my clients. But it's
Mhm.
at a good spot. I'm learning a lot. Um, I would say by springtime, I want to be thinking about and what else,
Mm.
like how else, because I mean, I really love being a therapist. I love being one-on-one with people in general, with friends,
Yeah.
clients. I'm just a
Yes.
one-on-one gal. And,
Yes.
and I have to be able to diversify a little bit, how I'm earning and also how I'm spending my time and energy because one-on-one work is draining, but that's also how I'm making my income right now. So I want to get creative and I'm giving myself time to like exist in the learning right now too.
Yeah. I love that. I love that because I mean, you're in the space of like, you don't know what you don't know. You're in that open, just staying open. And I think that when we're in that place of, I don't know, and something needs to happen,
Yeah.
we have such a tendency to just trigger anxiety and just feel like I should know, right? Even if we're not saying it out loud, there's that feeling in our body that's like, you're supposed to have the answer. Why don't you have the answer? Where is the answer? Can someone give me the answer, right? It's like wanting to find the binary solution. And especially, especially with, I think, just environmentally, everything that's going on and what it's igniting in a lot of people, um, individually. Again, this place where people can be more independent, this place where people are functioning um, more creatively in their own individuality and able to find um, themselves in a more authentic way, um, by design. It's like you're not going to have the majority of the answers. In fact, um, you're never going to have all the answers, right?
Right.
So, how do you pace yourself and be at peace with the pace, right? Like down to the minutia of like, it's going to take me however long it's going to take me to get ready. It's
Right.
going to take me however long it's going to take me to get the kids to school. It's going to take me however long it's going to take me to sit in traffic and get back because the waiting in between. I mean, even you saying like that you were building this business, you were starting this business like at 30-minute increments, like at the end of the night. I can only imagine. I'm sure a part of you was like, I don't have space for much else. But were there times where you were like anxious because you were like, I'm like right in the middle of that thing and I'm just, and it's just like that thread that you're just like, I just need to grab, I just need to finish pulling that
Yep. So much.
thing.
I mean, I remember feeding Ruby in the middle of the night when she would wake up and just being really anxious while I was feeding her because stuff would just start popping up in my head of what I had to do or the what ifs. And even right now, like I can I can ground myself around it, and the what next is scary to me because I know it's going to require me to do things that I've not done before and try different things. Um, it does it feels really scary, and I feel like I'm giving myself a gift though by being here, because it can be really easy for me to get comfortable and just be like, well, what's the next step? And just go for
Hmm.
what's the next step. And um I want to I know I can create my next step, and
Hmm.
co-create with my husband too. Like whatever that is, I know I can figure it out, and to build on my strengths to help me deepen, like just keep growing. Like I want to be the one to choose what's next.
I love that. I want to be the one to choose what's next. Like, I think that's an amazing reminder for all of us is, there's a world and a place and times in our own lives where we didn't feel that freedom, and just remembering that, like, I want to choose the next step, right? And you're able to, even when it's scary or when options feel limited, um, and you don't have the resources or you don't have the support, you are still you still have allowance through free will, through whatever you want to call it. But you do have a level of autonomy over yourself. And it's not only, I mean, there's a lot of physical constraints too, and there's a lot of real things that can keep us from making moves. But I almost think of it as like, you even just think about how many muscles it takes to smile, how many muscles it takes to like lift your arm, how many muscles, right? And it takes a lot, but we do it without really thinking about it, right? But when we're little and we're learning how to gauge each muscle one by one, how to string a word together and then two words together and then three words together. And then we go through a cute little hypergrowth moment, right? And we learn to stand up and squat and all these things, right? But that's part of it. So regardless of where you're at, it's like there's always going to be an after. There's always going to be something else. There's always going to be, right? And that's why I'm such a big fan of like the micro the micro journey, really. Like even when they say like, oh, 1% better every day, I'm like, it's less than that.
You're like, even less people. Point
It's
zero
even less.
five.
Like because really we're working in like an iterative cycle that's like a spiral, right? Because we're learning as we go. So we take a step forward, we learn what works, we learn what doesn't work, and then we have to go back and we have to revisit and we have to reflect and then we go forward. So we do go, 7 steps forward, 6 steps back. But then we go 7 steps forward, 6 steps back. And then ideally, what we want in that is we just want to trend upwards just a little
Yeah.
bit, right? But nobody escapes this cycle. Everyone is failing more than they're winning. So you just have to realize that as long as you're trending upwards, and for every 50 mistakes, for every 50 failures, for every 50 unknowns, you're going to have 3 or 4 wins. We're going to be like, sweet movement, right? Just know that that's actually like that's the ratio you're looking at. It's not 1% better every day. No.
Right.
Because
Right.
if not, then at the end of the year, if you're 365% better, no, that's not happening.
You wish. Yeah. No.
You wish.
I Hearing you share that made me realize why it's so special to have built a business while being a new mom. And it's because it was such a humbling experience. Like I my anxious self would have had me fucking just doing the paperwork, doing all this shit, like making it happen,
Yeah.
just really
Yeah.
intense about it.
Yeah. Like almost hyperfixation mode.
Yes. And
Yeah.
Ruby was like, mm-mm, you don't got time for that.
Remember that?
I just pooped all over the place and I need you to take care of this. Like it's just like what you're just like, let me just, even if it's just like things around the house, you're like, let me just go do this little thing. Just kidding. I can't. Like I had to learn how to leave stuff.
Yes.
I had to learn how to leave things
Yes.
undone. And that's something that
Yeah.
I would be okay with it and like be okay with that discomfort and
Hmm.
humbling experience of having to slow down as a mom because if I moved too fast, she would get fussy and start crying, or we would forget something. Who knows what? I'm just like, why am I forcing
Right.
stuff?
Right. Totally. Totally. I mean, and there's for sure a place where that can create, and it's also like being okay with not being okay, right? That sort of classic line, because as we're learning, as we're learning to be okay, it still takes, 1,000x the effort to learn just to be okay with not being okay, because that process, it is, and to differing degrees for folks, and that by itself is a whole journey of the self of like, why is this, like, why can't I, right? Or why is like, and also being kind with yourself about what it is that you need and the support that you need in that process, right? And again, just another monumental reason why support through community is so important, because we can't and we're not meant to do it all alone. We're not meant to. I was giving my son a whole ass monologue because I
I love
was like, oh my God. I was like, listen, because he has chores. His chores are dishes, trash, Lola, the dog, right? And um, he was like complaining because, of course, for the dishes, for like 80% of the time, they just have to be loaded into the dishwasher, or unloaded or whatever. Yeah. Or if there's like stuff that needs to be washed. Okay, cool. And he comes over and he's like, why can't you just like put the dishes in the dishwasher? And I was like, I understand your sentiment. I was like, are you just venting? Which is totally cool if you're just venting. You can vent while you're, what, you know what I mean? If you just want to be angry, like, I get that. I'm like, but are you genuinely curious? Because if you're genuinely curious, like, I will give you a response. And he was like, no, I'm genuinely curious. I hate it when I mock him, but it's really hard not to, because he's like such a man now and he really does sound like this. And it's just crazy to me. But I'm like, I was like, the reason why I put everything in one pile right above the dishwasher is because I'm cleaning the entire kitchen. And in the process of cleaning the entire kitchen, I'm just trying to organize, right? I'm just trying to get all the cups, all the dishes together, and I'm just trying to put it in one space so that I can clean the kitchen, because that's my responsibility. Cleaning the kitchen, making sure that I'm also organizing the living room. I'm also making sure like the girls' stuff is ready, and I'm going on and on and on, right? And I was like, and the reality is that I cannot do it all. In fact, no one of us can do all of it singularly. So the reason that I put it in a pile for you is so that you don't have to go out and do it, but also so that I can do my work, right? Like, I need to do my part. You need to do your part. I was like, and the only reason why people get cranky in this house is if someone is bearing the load too much. Hey, my husband was like 15 feet away and he's like, I heard that. I was like, thank you. Sometimes it does get a little uneven. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Mm,
be present. There's something on the floor. Pick it up, right?
yeah.
But that's the whole, I feel like that just micro nucleus of the home is everything for teaching us about what it means outside of the world, right? Outside into the world, which is that we cannot, no one of us can do all of it our own. We need the support of those around us. And it's tangible, it's intangible, but recognizing space with each other and communicating and saying like, I'm at 30%, where are you at? Okay, well, I'm at 50%, which also sucks, but knowing that you're at 30%, like, I got it, right? When we're tired and it's like, can you just do that and then I'll do this, right? Like, that negotiation that doesn't feel like a fight, it just feels like you're just collaborating, you're trying to strategize, right? And raising our own kids, we have to, and I hate the idea that we have to be good examples, but we do. But
Mm,
even in our worst, I feel like even in our worst, we have to be the good example of what a bad example looks like because we're not perfect. So apologizing or whatever that looks like, but having that opportunity to go through the shitty parts, and to experience that shittiness and realize what it is that we're working with. And if it's only, you know, 30 minutes of sleep over the past 2 days and a half, right? And you're just like, I need help. Like, I need, like, my, what is it? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, like, I can't even take a shower. I can't even do anything. I don't even want to take a shower, right? Like, I'm so at my most basic form and I'm not okay. And just being okay with the fact that you're not okay, what that means is really it's asking for help. It's asking for help. It's figuring out what are your options and just being like, I'm not okay. And I'm going to sacrifice all of these things that I think are more important so that I can take care of myself.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I had to move, like, a lot of sort of parts of me aside that were judging me, and feeling really anxious about those things to arrive at surrender. A little bit closer to surrender, a little bit easier to receive help.
Mm.
And, then a clearer path started forming, for me to access that more regularly. And it's like, yeah, we simply are not built to do it alone. And I think I've said that to almost every single one of my clients this week because this is like that
I
time
love that.
where everyone's like, there's a lot of pressure this time of year. And I'm like, "We- you got this. We got this. It's just
Yeah,
you don't have to do it alone."
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to. We might want to because we're bad biddies and we're like, I am the bitch. And then it's like, no, mama, like you can be the bitch and need help. Like,
right, right, right.
you can be the one. You are the one, yes. But also, like, the one needs like her homies. The one needs like her posse and the people who are going to celebrate each other and you. And like in that process, just and grow. Like, how else, right? Like, we're gonna do it in a vacuum? Absolutely not. Like, don't do it alone. Do not, do not, do not. But yeah, awesome. I love it. Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.
So I'm so happy for you. I'm so in awe of you. I mean, like you're doing it. You're doing the damn thing. And it is very scary and it's very hard. And there's like a lot of really dark spots. But, when we do the work, that's why we do the work. Like literally, that is why we do the work because then those dark spots don't destroy us, and it can be like, ugh, the work feels so meaningless right now and I don't need the work right now. And it's like, no, no, no. The work is not for because you don't need it now. The work is because you will need it. It's an investment. It's an investment.
Yeah.
So,
Amen. Thank
amen. Amen. You're welcome. You're so welcome. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This was Hillary Moreno, and we are going to have her information in the description so you can reach out to her if you're curious learning more about maybe partnership opportunities or also just interested in being a client. That's my girl. She's in Chicago. And my name is Pilar. We're just doing our best. And because, well, we're not alone. So there you go. All right. Bye, everyone. Talk to you later. Love you.
Love you. Bye.